in terms of like satisfaction, like what's more important in your opinion?
My opinion, girth, not super lengthy.
No, like 12 inches if I got this bad boy up to like, why not? Guys want big, super long ones.
Guys do, but I don't know that most women want that.
Actually, I recently read an article at Men's Health, surveyed 100 women. What was more important, like length or girth? And I'm actually going to tell you guys what the answer is. All right, gentlemen, you know the video is going to be lit when I'm bringing produce and a tape measure to the party. So here's the deal. Today I want to talk a little bit about one of the big misconceptions that's out there in terms of dudes, right? We think in our head that we're too small or we're not big enough because we watch the movies, right? And this is something that basically affected me my entire life. I've always been insecure about the size of my wiener. Now, in terms of length, I've always been like 6 inches until I actually started using the Bathmate, and then I grew about an inch in terms of length. But the thing that really concerned me was the thickness. I wasn't like a big, thick dude. And so the other day when I actually saw this article or the study that was done by Men's Health that basically asked 100 women what was more important to them in terms of satisfaction, length or width or girth, I was very intrigued. I was also honestly shocked at the results of the study, which we'll go over in a second. The other thing that was a little bit shocking is that when I actually looked at the data, I didn't realize that the average male is much smaller and not as thick as I thought or perceived it to be. All right, this cucumber right here, this little tiny, I think it looks tiny, apparently it's bigger than most dudes, cucumber is larger than the average man, all right? In terms of length, this cucumber is sitting right about, boom, right there, 6.5 inches, right? Now, in terms of circumference, it is 5.5 inches in diameter, right, or thickness. Now, what is average? All right, they basically analyzed 15,000 men and found that the average male dude, when he's like rock solid, is 5.19 inches. In terms of circumference or thickness, it's 4.59 inches. Check it out. This cucumber, right, the long skinny one, is about average in terms of thickness for dudes. Now, this cucumber, just to give you an idea, in terms of circumference is 7 inches. In terms of length, the length is, wait for it, 6.5 inches. This cucumber is much more satisfying to a woman than this one. And the good news is that girth and thickness is actually something that you can easily change and get bigger, which I'll explain in a minute. As dudes, we think we want some long, like 12-inch monster that we can basically just like crush somebody and that's gonna make her go crazy, when the reality is that it's gonna hurt her. Whether or not you realize this, right, the depth of the vagina is only like 4.25 to like 4.75 inches, right? It's not super deep, and at the top of it's basically the cervix, right? And so if you're rocking something super long, right, you're just hammering and banging up against there, and she is definitely not getting stimulated or excited or pleasured from you jamming your rod against her cervix. You know, for me personally, like I mentioned before, I've always been insecure about my size. I've always been like average in terms of length. I'm over like right at like 6. Now, after using the Bathmate, I'm close to 7. But the thing that really changed for me was my thickness. And that's something that I was super excited about because that was the thing that I was more concerned about, right? I was fine in terms of length. I never had problems. But the thickness, I wasn't as thick as I wanted to be. And so literally I went from this, right? This is basically what my thickness was before to this, right? It's crazy. I gained 1.5 inches in thickness from using the Bathmate. All right, baby. You got to hook the gentleman up. You got to tell him. From your perspective, what was the biggest difference when I started using the pump months ago?
You changed in girthiness.
Girthiness?
Yes.
Was that the most significant difference that you noticed? Could you notice a difference?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Definitely.
Better difference?
Yeah.
This is the Bathmate. It's a pump that you use in the shower. The way that it works, basically take it in the shower, hold it upside down, fill it up, put it on yourself. All right, you have a little like ruler right there that you basically, it faces you, and then you pump it, right? And what happens is the water gets extracted and it creates a lot of suction on your wiener. And it basically pulls blood into those two big cavernous chambers, all right? The reason why, all right, you have a big thick penis is because those chambers are wide and have the ability to fill with more blood. And that is what happens when you actually use the Bathmate. It basically is pulling more blood than would normally come into those chambers. And over time, by doing this consistently, it's gonna stretch it out. And over time, it will actually make your wiener bigger and thicker. And that's what happened to me. Now, I'm literally almost like 7 inches in terms of thickness. It's literally like, I joke around with my wife and she hates when I say this, but it's literally like I'm holding somebody else's wiener. It's big and thick now. In terms of length, I gained like almost an inch, right? But it was really noticeable in terms of the thickness. But for me, that was amazing. Right now, my size, I'm right at about 7 inches. Like this literally is like, this cucumber basically is like me now. And when I started, it was like this. So the thing definitely works. Guys, I'm going to link to Bathmate down below. I'm not going to do a big, huge sales pitch, but bottom line is this. If you're somebody that is serious about wanting a bigger or thicker Big Al, this product will do it, period, end of story. I'm going to link down below to my Bathmate landing page, guys. I'm also going to link down below to the videos that I did talking about my 30, 60, 90-day review of this product and basically what happened. If you are new to this whole like PE game and you are serious about wanting to make it bigger, this is something that I have used personally. I vouch for it. My wife vouches for it. It works 100%. They are so confident that this is going to work. They also offer you like a money-back guarantee. Bottom line is this. If you're ready to get started, there's a link down below. The link is special because right now, for a limited time, they've got a crazy deal for the holiday. It's the best deal you're going to find on the Bathmate. Now, when you hit the page real quick, you're going to see 3 different models. You've got the Hydro, which was the first one, Hydro Max, which was the second, and then the Hydro Extreme, which is this one. Guys, don't mess around with these. I've taken the challenge. These two are good, but this one is amazing. Another added benefit of using the Bathmate is lasting longer. So if that's something that you care about, it definitely has impacted that. It's basically made every aspect of my sex life a lot better, and I definitely know that my wife has been enjoying my increased thickness. Now, let's talk a little bit about that. All right, with this study that was done by Men's Health, where they asked 100 women, basically ranging from 18 to 71, what was the most important factor in terms of your partner's genital size, these are the results. In terms of a satisfying size, 70% said that girth was the bigger difference, 18% said length, and 12% said external factors. 70%! And that 12% of external factors, that's basically like manual stimulation and stuff like that, which is something else you need to understand. Like 95% of women do not reach that point of, oh mama, from just you pounding away, right? It takes more in terms of stimulation of that little thingy thing, right? Whether or not it's grinding or rubbing or having a bigger, thicker Big Al. All about the stimulation of that little thingy thing, right? But that thingy thing doesn't just stop where you can see it. It goes all the way up, right? And I just hate the word clitoris. I just hate that word. Anyway, but it makes sense, right? When it's thicker, right, and you're going in, it basically is stimulating that thing like all the way up, and there's more ability to create friction on it, which means a more satisfying experience for her. And so the takeaway to this is if you are not well endowed in terms of length, don't worry about it. All right, most women say that an average length is perfect as long as there's adequate thickness. And the cool thing, like I said, is that thickness is something that you can actually do something about. No, but in terms of length, a lot of it, like I said, it is genetic, right? But girth, that is something, good news, that you can do something about if you want to. If you don't, then cool. And like I said, remember, most women are totally cool with your size. And if you practice the Alpha M rule of getting sexy and freaky, take care of her first, you second, everybody wins. Remember, gentlemen, it's not just about hammering away. I cannot stress to you this enough, right? Even though in the movies, that's what it looks like, she's getting like excited from, it's not how she is actually going to reach that point of, oh, mama, exactly. It's about stimulating, it's about touching, it's about taking your time, it's about listening to your partner and communicating. That's the biggest takeaway. If you are communicating with your partner and listening to her, reading her body language, having foreplay, doing all the thing and touching all the touches that you need to do, you are absolutely going to dazzle and rock her world. But I'm sure you're the best and biggest she's ever had. Really? I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. I always was weird and insecure about that. God. Anyway, I want to do this video and talk about it a little bit because I know that as dudes, we think that we got to be like this, when the truth is we got to be like this. We just got to be like this.